Few big successes compensate for dozens and dozens of things that didn't work.
So many people go through different journeys of success. They'll go through some tons of ups and tons of downs, and every time they fail, they take a moment to learn and gain knowledge from that experience and what it brought to them, because the failure doesn't mean it's the end of the line. It's just a brief hiccup in the pathway paving for success. So many people are successful for so many different reasons, and a lot of them is just because they decided to put their nose down and get to work as soon as possible. So many people say, I want to do this or that or the other, and they never decide to start pursuing that goal. They just hope one day a door opens that they can walk through and they'll become whatever it is they want to become. But that is not the case. You need to make sure that you are doing everything for yourself, because you are that one person that you have to wake up in the morning and worry about. Nobody else has to worry about you, and you don't have to worry about anybody. So you should focus on you and how to become the best version of you each and every single day. Now, some days that's going to be challenging and you're not going to want to do it, but those are the days where you really need to hunker down and pay attention and figure out a way to grow or learn from that day. Make every day a learning experience that you can take advantage of, and down the road discover how beneficial that was to you, because it's all about becoming the best person you can be every single day and growing from that moment, and keep pushing forward.
If you absolutely can't tolerate critics, then don't do anything new or interesting. I would have such a good feeling if I could be an 80-year-old guy and laying there thinking about my life, if I could say, look, there is now a bunch of entrepreneurs in space because I took my Amazon lottery winnings and built the heavy lifting infrastructure that does take billions of dollars in CapEx to lower the cost of access to space. That's how you get millions of people living and working. And by the way, we need that. For those of you who like to think about the future at all, you can do a simple calculation. We can argue about, what limited resources on Earth and so on and so on, but here's a calculation that you cannot argue with, which is you take current baseline energy usage on Earth, compound it at just a few percent a year for just a few hundred years, and you have to cover the entire surface of the Earth in solar cells. So we're going to have to decide, do we want a society of pioneering, invention, expansion, growth, or do we want a society of stasis? And personally, I believe, because the Earth is finite, and if you want a society of stasis, first of all, I don't personally believe that stasis is even compatible with freedom, so I think for me that's a big problem. I believe on the longest time frame, and I really here I'm thinking of a time frame of a couple hundred years. So over many decades, I believe, and I get increasing conviction with this with every passing year, the Blue Origin, the space company, is the most important work I'm doing. And so there is a whole plan. First of all, of course, I'm interested in space because I'm passionate about it and I've been studying it and thinking about it since I'm a 5-year-old boy. But that is not why I'm pursuing this work. I'm pursuing this work because I believe if we don't, we will eventually end up with a civilization of stasis, which I find very demoralizing. I don't want my great-grandchildren's great-grandchildren to live in a civilization of stasis. We all enjoy a dynamic civilization of growth and change, and let's think about what powers that. We are not really energy constrained, and so let me give you just a couple of numbers. If you take your body, your metabolic rate as a human, as just an animal, you eat food, that's your metabolism. Amazon started as a very small company. It was me and a few other people. I was driving all the packages to the post office myself in my 1987 Chevy Blazer. And when I raised money for Amazon, I had to raise $1 million, which I raised from 22 different investors, $50,000 each. They got 20% of the company for the $1 million. And it was 40 people told me no. So I had to take 60 meetings to get 20 yeses. The first question was always, what's the internet? And I had to walk through that. And this was 1994, early 95. And so did I anticipate, fast forward to today and the current version of it? No. And I think that is true for most businesses, where you kind of proceed adaptively. It's step by step. You figure it out. You have a success, and then you kind of double down on that success, and you figure out what else you can do, what customers want. Everything we've done and all the success we have is at its root primarily due to the fact that we have put customers first. My grandparents would take me every summer, starting at age 4, every summer, kind of to give her a break, really, for the whole summer. So I'd be with my grandparents and on their ranch in Cotulla, Texas, which is halfway between San Antonio and Laredo. We lived in Houston, and so we would make the 5-hour drive out to Cotulla. They'd drop me off, spend a couple of days there, then they'd go back to Houston. I'd spend the summer. And I went every day to the ranch with my grandfather to help. Now, a 4-year-old boy on a ranch in South Texas is not a lot of help. But I didn't know that. I thought I was helping, and then by the time I was 16, I actually was helping. So I have, I can suture up a prolapsed cow, I can fix windmills. My grandfather was so resourceful and that he made his own veterinary needles. He would take a little piece of wire and pound it flat with like a oxyacetylene torch, and then drill a little hole through it. And then we did all of our own veterinary work. Some of the cattle even survived.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.